Hello and welcome to today's session. In this discussion today, we have Remy Boussaïs and Michaela Sims from Mondelez International, joined by Bridget Ling and Kevin Chu from Pitcher. They'll be discussing creating unforgettable buyer experiences, an insider look to AI and AR. Without further ado, I will pass over to you, Bridget.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it. Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to be here today on today's webinar. Special thanks to the Sales Enablement Collective for hosting this event for us today. And extra special thanks to our partners at Mondelez. We're looking forward to the conversation. We'll just start quick with going around the horn with some introductions. So Michaela, you want to start us off?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Michaela Sims. I have been with Mondelez for 8 years, my entire career. My role as manager of retail transformation, I essentially lead innovation for our field sales teams and help them deliver in-store execution and strategize and partner with their customers.
Thanks, Michaela. Remy?
Just say, yep, I can jump in. So excited to be here. My name is Remy Boussaïs. I'm our Director of Retail Transformation at Mondelez. So I lead kind of digital innovation and some operational reinvention across our U.S. direct store delivery or DSD side of the business. I've been at Mondelez for maybe 13 years and 2 weeks now. And I've had the chance to work across our sales organization, both on our DSD retail team and also calling on some of our key retailer partners at a headquarter level. And then I've been in the kind of enterprise transformation space for the last few years now. I started my career at Mondelez in stores. I was a sales rep running a territory, and that has kind of grounded me through those roles. And as we look at tools like Pitcher and capabilities that we're building, our ability to drive impact and positive outcomes for our frontline is what unlocks everything for us organizationally. So really excited for the conversations today.
Awesome. Thanks, Remy. How about you, Kevin?
Morning, Kevin Chu, Chief Executive Officer here at Pitcher, and this is probably one of the most exciting things I get to do at the company is share with you all some of the great stories, returns on investment, some of the great outcomes that our customers are driving with our products.
Awesome, thanks. And I'm Bridget Ling. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Pitcher. Pitcher is the leading provider for Sales Enablement 2.0 solutions, and we get the opportunity to work with sales teams around the world, like the team at Mondelez, to use technology and AI to sell more effectively in retail and beyond. As you can see, the chat is open. The Q&A tab is open. We welcome you all to throw comments in the chat throughout, throw questions in the Q&A tab. We will for sure leave time at the end, and then we'll also stop along the way as the questions determine the need, and we're looking forward to the conversation. So as Will mentioned, today we're going to be talking about how manufacturers and brands create unforgettable buying experiences at retail. Store managers don't have time or really in general sales pitches. And so to win space, reps need to capture their attention right away, make that decision-making process effortless, show the value of their products to the category in store right away. So we're going to start today with a short little video. And this video really highlights and tells the story of how AI and AR is really transforming sales meetings and outcomes for today's CPG brands. So we'll kick things off with a short video. Here we go.
Meet Alex. He sells affordable snack products to large retail stores on the U.S. East Coast. He relies on Pitcher's selling suite to supply him with all the real-time information he needs to make the sale. Pitcher's intelligence agent,
Hi,
or PIA, is Pitcher's AI-powered assistant. Alex and PIA, they know in-store displays. Consumers tend to shop habitually and become blind to the usual shelf arrangements. Only novel displays can cut through the clutter. The right sales display in the right place at the right time can provide significant revenue increases for the store and for the brand. It is up to Alex and Pitcher to show the stores how. PIA predicts the outcomes of a certain display by comparing the outcomes of similar displays in similar stores at similar times. Leveraging the AI's ability to see patterns within immense amounts of data, PIA gives accurate forecasts based upon robust sales feedback. PIA pre-visualizes the display by allowing the store to see an augmented reality view of exactly how the display will appear within the store.
Oh, that's good. Can I see that from the other side?
Of course. Let's check it out.
Alex uses the camera in his tablet to show exactly how each display will look from all angles.
And see, tap here.
PIA shows not only how the display will look, but how it will perform.
Dang.
Our AI has analyzed your store's specific customer profile, purchasing patterns, and even local events calendar.
For real?
PIA helps prepare Alex for his presentation by creating customized sell sheets for each promotion,
It's really impressive.
which incorporate store-specific data, regional consumer insights, and tailored messaging that resonates with this particular store's priorities and challenges.
Definitely. Let's move forward with this.
Great. I'll submit this order right now, and these displays will be delivered next Tuesday.
Great.
With the store manager's approval, Alex captures the order directly in the app. After implementation, the system continues to provide value by tracking actual performance.
Oh, excellent.
Using integration with point-of-sale data, Alex can see exactly how each display is performing, comparing actual versus projected metrics. At this Walmart, the displays are performing 6% above projections after the first week, allowing Alex to share the success with Sarah during his follow-up visit.
You are going to want to see this.
Pitcher transformed retail execution by connecting the entire selling process in one seamless solution that delivers ROI to the retailer.
This is amazing.
Dynamic, personalized sell sheets are generated in real time by AI. Augmented reality visualizes displays and shelf placement for in-stock products. The Pitcher platform is an AI-powered solution that will transform your retail selling effectiveness.
Thanks for watching.
Cool.
Yeah, so as we can see, technology and data that are available to CPG companies and retail stores have the potential to really change the process and the outcomes. So let's jump into the conversation. Let's start by looking at some data around the trends in CPG. So this data is from a 2024 survey done by the Promotion Optimization Institute, or POI. And as you can see, the top two issues that are keeping CPG organizations from exceptional retail execution are limited data and insights, and having data and insights that are not being fully leveraged. And then the third one is lacking retail execution technology. Remy, Michaela, how relatable is this to you?
I mean, I think this is kind of what we live and breathe every day, right? Like I would say we don't have limited data, but we have a limited ability to like use our data in an actual way. Like here in the US, we have a large, complex sales organization. We have a mountain of information and data that's available, but we have not always been the best at putting it in our front line and in our sales reps' hands in a way that they can really take advantage of. Our sales reps in stores, they need the most simple, actionable, visual selling priorities and information like we can give them. And we haven't always done a great job of that. And that's where, we've started to look at tools like Pitcher to help arm our frontline with what they need to be most effective in a really tough environment to operate in. I smiled a little bit there. If every manager at every outlet that we call on was as easy to work with as the one in the video, we probably wouldn't be on this call. But our reps are, they're fighting the battle every day, and it's our job to give them tools to take advantage of the data, the insights, and put it at their fingertips every day.
Maybe help ease that smile along a little more. That's great.
Remy, one of the things we hear from our fast-moving consumer goods and CPG customers like yourselves consistently is that they are faced with multiple brands. They're faced with disintermediation from by distributors. They're faced with the limited time that they have in front of the store managers, pre-negotiated shelf space and rates, and so there's a very they have to have a very targeted, data-informed, analytic discussion with that store manager in a very rapid fashion, so they can articulate that the reason why that store manager needs to carve out precious floor space for their display. Is that what you guys are experiencing?
I mean, absolutely. It is. I mean, every inch of every store that we operate in is being competed for, either at a headquarter level with our account teams or at store level. And the folks managing these stores have got a really tough task where they're making tons of decisions on a daily and weekly basis about how to best execute in their store. And for our reps, they might have 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes walking down the aisle in the back room of the store to give that information, to give that pitch, to partner with the store and give them the insights they need to make the best decisions. And if they're having to go to 4 or 5 different places to find information, if they don't have a way to visualize it, then we lose. And we don't like to lose.
Most of the reps, I think, in fast-moving consumer goods and CPG, they're literally working off of 3-ring sell sheets and 3-ring binders. They're working off of yellow pads. They're working off of Excel spreadsheets. So what we're going to see in a minute is certainly a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and that's really what this part of the POI survey found, that our CPG companies utilizing guided selling tools. The answer is largely no. How did you begin to address this problem, you guys, Remy, Michaela?
I mean, I think it starts with kind of looking at the industry and the environment that we operate in. And so we're obviously in the US, and we're in grocery today is a really dynamic, fastly evolving space. And the things that worked for us yesterday, relying on a relationship you have with the store, if it's your 3-ring binder or Excel sheet, or having the time to go to that doesn't work in today's environment. And what we owe to our team is we have to give them the tools and capabilities where they can take the relationships and the equity that they have in stores and amplify that to the next level. But it's got to be in a way that's simple, that's actionable, that's easy to use, where they see it and they're like, I get this. And where the decision makers in the stores who they're partnering with see what they're being presented and say, I get this. And if we do that, then we're able to have success. But it starts with, I think, just looking at the landscape and the operating environment that our sales reps are working in.
Yeah. Michaela, anything you want to add?
I was going to say, I'd also build onto that and say that you could be in the same store a week, days apart, and be talking to a different manager that cares about a different metric. So you could have a conversation on performance trends with manager number 1, but manager number 2 doesn't believe that display is going to fit in that space. So you need to leverage a different form of technology to be able to sell in that display. And that's what we've been able to equip our sales reps with Pitcher, is essentially a very dynamic, flexible selling tool that can provide any decision maker the facts to support why our display deserves that space.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and as we look at, in our work with Mondelez and other CPG companies, we sort of boil it down to these 4 key items that reps must do to help facilitate that effortless decision-making process, especially with competing priorities. So capturing attention instantly, knowing which seasonal priority or best fit opportunity there is to pitch, real world value, and standing out from the competition. Michaela, how do you encourage your reps to make that process easy for their managers, especially as you mentioned with the competing interests or competing metrics?
Yeah, so really good question. Honestly, when we first started talking about Pitcher and sharing it, it was all about, here's how you can, drive results at a store. Here's how you can deliver what they need. But we took a step back and really had to first address getting reps on board with using this new technology and really helping them understand the what's in it for me, so that then they felt confident taking that to the store management. So one of the examples we shared early on as we were rolling this out was preparing for our winter holiday season and doing a comparison of, if you were to do that with our prior tools where, as Remy said earlier, it was pretty fragmented. You had to go to multiple sources to build that selling pitch. That previously would take over 5, maybe 10 minutes to pull together, versus Pitcher, less than 30 seconds. You have all of your selling tools right there ready. You know exactly how to address the conversation. So that was really step one. And then from there, they understood, okay, I can make an impact with this and I can leverage the facts quickly. A lot of our reps are very tenured, so they had that relationship already built with the stores. So being able to add in that fact-based selling on top of that has just really helped them drive not only results for Mondelez, but the stores results and like what they really care about at the end of the day, which is what we're here for. So truly a win-win. And then kind of to mention what I already had said around having a dynamic selling tool, that was just really critical. Being able to quickly pivot between different tactics in selling, whether it's leveraging the AR capability with the augmented reality displays, or leveraging the competitive overview and being able to show store A how they're performing versus their stores around them. So that's kind of how we've been able to help them make that decision-making effortless. They, one, are confident in the tool, and secondly, are able to pull up exactly what selling facts materials that store manager cares about.
Michaela, I love what you said as far as the most revenue leaders in an organization, their job is to up-level every rep to be equally as productive as a top-selling rep. And that is as a high-performing sales organization. A junior rep coming in who leverages the tools, sees what best practices looks like, sees how a data-driven, fact-driven discussion with a potential customer has much more yield, is the way that they up-level. And in a tenured, high-performing rep, it's taking away, if they want to, what Pitcher's focused on is taking away the housekeeping from their job, from the prep, from the meeting follow-up. If I've got 10 stores to call on in a day, and I know that the follow-up for store 2 was X, Y, and Z, at the end of the day, I may not be able to remember that. And so being able to capture that real time and then have Pitcher recommend the next best action, both from a content perspective as well as an action perspective, that frees up the rep's mind to be doing much more higher level selling.
Yeah, and I think amazingly, and Michaela and Remy, Mondelez, you guys are really ahead of the curve, because
yeah, you are.
Through this, through the data that we see, 67% of CPG companies are still in the "we're thinking about it" phase of AI adoption. It's surprising that we're still at that number, but you're seeing such an impact from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. I mean, I'm sure if we were to circle back in a year and look at this, I'm sure those numbers would change, right? But we're in, we are in this hyper competitive environment. Our reps they are competing every single day to partner with stores to drive the best possible execution, to capture display space, to drive sales for the category, to do all of these things. And they're not just doing it against like our direct, other, brands and companies within our category, but they're really doing it across the store. And they're also doing it not just within the physical store, but, more and more from an omni standpoint. And in that environment, if you're not turning over every possible stone and finding every opportunity to make life a little bit easier for those folks, to make the data a little bit easier to use, a little bit more seamless, a little bit more visual, a little bit more actionable, and ultimately to make the decision-making for that store manager or lead a little bit easier, then you're losing. And I think I said up front, like, we try to not be in the business of losing here. And so we've got to provide, and we've got to arm our folks with the tools to do that, right? So if you're, to me, I look at this chart and it's like, if you're not doing that, then you need to be. And that was really, for us, it was if we felt like we were probably in that boat a year or two ago, and we were getting feedback from our reps that they didn't feel like they had all the tools and capabilities. They need to be the best version of themselves, as Kevin said, to up-level themselves from a junior to a senior level performing rep. And we knew we had to do something. And that's really where this all started.
When I look at this slide, I think of changing demographics. I think of changing demographic of the rep. I think of changing demographic of the customers you're selling to, as they become more digital natives, as the age demographic moves towards a younger crowd. Frankly, they're going to expect to be addressed as digital natives, have a digital conversation. That's just where the norm is going, and I think you're going to see these numbers, Remy, to your point, move very quickly to adoption.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sales. And if you're not first, you're last, essentially. Everyone wants to be number one, top dog. So if your competition has capabilities that are stronger, more efficient, and impactful than you, then you've got to get on that train and make up for that lost ground. And I think that's really where AI comes into place with that digital platform and providing those facts, insights needed in a very quick manner.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking to that point, data-driven display selling, as you guys have brought in the tools that incorporate AI and AR to help drive the selling of displays, how has it provided value to your retailers, and what were some of the quick wins?
I love what Kevin said about housekeeping. Like, you only have so much mental bandwidth when you're in a store. And if any of that is being taken up by administrative tasks of pulling materials together and like doing the quick analysis, I mean, to me, that is where this is the most impactful, is it lets our sellers sell. It lets our salespeople be salespeople, and it allows them to focus all of their energy on partnering with an account, partnering with a store, and driving an outcome, right? It gives us a level of intelligence at a really local level that we didn't have before. It gives us recommendations that we maybe hadn't thought of, or that we didn't have the time to think of, or that were something we hadn't done in the past, and so we weren't thinking about it for the future. So for me, that's where it starts, and that is so important. And I keep coming back to this, like, it's competitive, it's dynamic, it's fast paced, and it's an ever changing environment. The brands, the categories, the retailers, folks you're selling to, the folks on our teams. If you're not constantly evolving, then you're falling behind, and building these AI capabilities into how we sell helps us evolve faster.
That's great. Anything
and
to
I think
add?
some of the additional impacts we've seen from that as well. I know me personally, thinking about AI, I'm like, wow, that's really complex. Don't understand it. That's for someone else. But one of the things we consistently get feedback on week after week, day after day, is how simple it is. And that's really what it's all about, is just making things simple, actionable, and going and executing. So it doesn't matter if you've ever used, I mean, pretty much everyone's used AI before, but it doesn't matter if you've used Pitcher or not before. When we rolled this out, we had reps who hadn't even gone through training and understood how to use the tool on day one. So pretty incredible there. And I think what's really been impactful for them is the more they're leveraging the tool, the more they're having those fact-based selling conversations, they're seeing those results in their KPIs. And it's building their relationships with the stores as well. And again, helping us win at the store, AKA helping that store win and deliver what they need to deliver as well.
Michaela, I could not have said that better. Here at Pitcher, we are maniacal about driving your team's utilization of our solutions to the 80, 90%, driving towards that perfect score of this is something that's in the reps' hands every day. They want to use because it makes them more money. It's easier. It's easy to use. It's intuitive. There's not a lot of training involved, and it's something that AI is behind the scenes, helping them be the best of themselves.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Great. Kevin, I'm going to turn it over to you now as we take a look at just what what these tools actually look like in practical application. So I'll have you share, and then Michaela, Remy, jump in and add your 2 cents along the way here.
See, I'm sharing my screen here. Make sure that you can all see this. Go full screen, back up a little bit. Can you all see this? Can you all see this? Okay, looks good?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is the actual Pitcher application, and this was deployed at Mondelez. This is a day in the life of a seller. And as I tee this up, the seller in the morning, they've got several stores to call on. In this scenario, we've got 2 stores to call on: Target Fort Lee and Walmart Edgewater. There's going to be, what you're going to see in a minute is what exactly the sellers are calling up and in preparation for their meeting, and then they're actually in front of a store manager. You're going to see analytic data being pulled in. You're going to see dashboards. You're going to see overlays of data that have store performance, that have area performance. You can see how that store is relative to its peers in the area. And then finally, you're going to see an augmented reality, virtual reality representation of what an actual display would look like in a store. And then the seller can articulate for the store manager what is the up level, what is the increased revenue that they can expect by deploying either the small, medium, or the large display. So let me go ahead and roll this. So this is the splash screen. So I'm a seller and I'm going into Edgewater Walmart. As you see, this is the attainment for the year-to-date sales for that particular store. I'm going to pause here for a second. These are the different product types that we're deploying within the store. So you've got the Hops and Dreams, Loon and Berry, Fostvale as different. This is an Alk Bev demo. So you're going to see those are the different brands. There's the different market shares, sales trends, what customers are rating that particular brand within that store. And this is coming from corporate. So this is coming from the corporate of Hops and Dreams, where I've got these particular sell sheets that they want me to speak to customers on. So they've deployed these within my personalized environment. I also know via analytics in the past of what that store prefers, what their demographics are driving towards. So this is a combination of what is coming from corporate as well as what I know already works in the ground. So these are different sell sheet areas. So you're going to see in a minute that we're going to open up the Hops and Dreams Pilsner. There you go. And we see this particular sell sheet is coming up with why this product is particularly suited for this environment, this demographic, this location, as well as the lift calculators. In other words, these are the additional revenues that you'd be able to see over the course of a span of 1 week, 2 weeks, and 3 weeks. Target customers, different seasonality associated with that. So this is informing the rep to be a much more data-driven, but also a content-rich discussion. Oh, but before I click into that, this is an AR/VR representation. So if the store manager says, I've got this space here at the end of the ketchup aisle, and I've got only 2 feet to do, what can you deploy into that? Well, I can show you exactly with Pitcher. I can show you exactly the different deployment models, different displays that and the associated revenue. There it is. Associated revenue associated with each size display, small, medium, large. So I can say that you've got this space at the end of your end cap for the ketchup aisle, and you can expect this much revenue from deploying each of these different footprints. Back to Remy's point of that vital, every inch of that store is vital. Current sales for Hops and Dreams, current predicted current year-over-year growth. Now I'm going to launch a comparison sheet within, and here again, to Michaela's point, a data-driven, informed, fact-based discussion. I've got multiple Walmart supercenters here. I'm going to be comparing them on a week. This is a 52-week timeline. Different Walmart supercenters of what I've been able to sell, what's been the uplift, what has been the revenue attainment for each of those different stores. So I can tell that store manager, your peers in this demographic, in your location, are seeing this type of revenue yield. I'm going to change the time horizon to 26 weeks. We'll see the data shifts towards a half a year instead of a full year. This next piece is going to be able to select in different stores. I can compare different Walmart supercenters in the area and have a different view for that store manager to see immediately what his peers are doing and how his peers are performing with my brands. Again, a data-driven and informed discussion that the reps can have with the store manager in a very rapid fashion. More sell sheets. This is a cool representation of an actual store layout. So now I've got to speak to the store manager with I know that I've got these particular locations that are either spoken for, prearranged by corporate, or are jump balls for me to be able to deploy my stand into. A little bit more on different types of brands. Maybe corporate is telling me that I need to upsell this particular Frostvale, Lunaberry. They're feeding me information that I can have a better discussion. I can drive the brands that corporate is asking me to do via corporate initiatives. So as you see, just to wrap it up, a very data-informed, data-rich, fact-based discussion that is quick, analytic, has AR, VR capabilities to drive that discussion into much more of a fact-based discussion for that rep. So I will go ahead and stop sharing now. Stop sharing. And we're back.
We're back. Remy and Michaela, talk us through the implementation of what we just saw in the demo. How has it been for your reps and adoption and all of that?
Kevin, first of all, we'd be happy to bring you on as a sales rep here at Mondelez.
Thank you. Likewise, Remy. I'd love to have you at Pitcher as well.
No, I think that really outlined it, and a lot of those are features that our reps are using today, right now. And I think that spoke to, like, for one of our reps to have a sales call, a sales pitch, and do all of those different things for us. I mean, that probably would have taken 2 or 3 visits. It would have taken a significant amount of time and energy that could have been probably better spent doing something else or having a more focused pitch. But it really, that really, I think, for me, sums up, like, it takes all of these different things that a store wants to see, that a store might want to see, maybe the store doesn't even know they want to see yet. And it organizes it into a really nice, automated, easy to use visual platform for our reps to go execute. So, now, Kevin, you crushed it, man.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We do have a few questions. I want to just get to kind of the key takeaways from the conversation here, and we'll jump into some questions. Key takeaways, show, don't tell, unlock the value that's hidden in your data. AI tools can create significant efficiencies, and these memorable interactive sales meetings will drive faster decision making. Michaela, do you find that these key takeaways resonate with you and your team?
Absolutely. I think we've really hit the nail on the head on having those facts, insights quickly at your fingertips for those conversations. And the memorable interactive sales meetings really hits home as well. We've heard a lot of feedback from our field sales teams around the augmented reality display feature. A lot of times managers will say, I don't have space for that. And so for them to be able to pull that up and show, hey, here's exactly what it would look like. It fits right here. Looks great. Let's order it. It's left in that memorable impact on the manager. And the next time that rep has gone back, they're like, hey, let me see the picture, the AR of the next seasonal display you have coming in. Let's put that up here. So it's, they're getting more invested in us. And again, just building that partnership and helping us be that number one supplier they want to turn to when they need to drive growth or they need to address certain issues that they're being faced with. So key takeaways, absolutely
That's
accurate.
Great. Hey, Bridget, if we're moving into Q&A right now, there's a couple cues out here in the questions that I think we should probably address.
Absolutely. So the first one is, are there any key challenges that a lot of companies face when integrating AI and AR into their sales and marketing strategies?
I could take a first pass at that. Oh, go ahead, Michaela. Go ahead, please.
I was just going to say, earlier I had mentioned a lot of our reps are very tenured. And with that, comes resistance to change, as we all know. So that was really hurdle number one for us. And the way we were able to overcome that was really showing what's in it for them, which started off as, hey, here's the tool, here's how quick you can access the information you need. It's essentially going to make your life easier, not only easier, but help you deliver better, stronger results that are the results your bonus based off of. So simpler, you're going to make more money, and we're going to be able to help that store drive their growth as well. I mean, what more could you ask for other than that as a salesperson? But there was definitely some resistance to change. And so, we have those laggards, you get like the first 50, 60%, the bell curve. And now that we have been live with this tool for, I want to say about 6-7 months now, we're starting to be able to see those results at a national level and then share those out with teams on, hey, when we're using Pitcher consistently and we're having those quality fact-based selling conversations, here's how those territories and those stores are performing versus ones where we're not leveraging these tools at. And the results are pretty impressive, honestly. There's a couple of times Remy and I have looked at them and I'm like, I think I need to pull this again. This can't be right. It can't be that big of a gap between the two, but
It's incredible.
really it is. Yeah, so that's been a huge help with getting the last few on board there, helping them see, hey, if I had used this consistently the way that I'm they've laid out and it's simple to use, I could have made that number or I could have exceeded my objective. And again, that's what it comes down to. We're salespeople. We're here to drive revenue. We're here to pocket money.
Yeah. That's great.
I love it, Michaela. That was beautiful. Thank you.
If I can jump on to the next question here. What's a simple way a smaller business could start experimenting with AR without a huge budget?
I can take that one. This is not just for large mega organizations. Clearly, in this use case with Mondelez, they're deploying at massive scale, worldwide, global scale. But your brand doesn't have to be that huge. If your brand can act nimble, forward-thinking, can act innovative, and if you're driving that sort of culture in your organization, that's key to me. And this is something that is, the solutions are scalable in such a way that they can go down market to mid market, SMB, as well as fulfill the highest levels of rigor that customers like a Mondelez are demanding. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Peering into the future. What future advancements in AR do you think will have the most significant impact? Oh my, where won't it have significant impact? But what do you guys think?
Michaela's smiling, so I'll let her fill in the gaps for for me fumbling through an answer here. But I think we're at a very early stage, right? Like, and that early stage is like a step change from how we've been able to visualize execution in store in the past. I think there's definitely, like, we have a ton of opportunity with what we have today to continue to optimize and customize and take what essentially take what I'm looking at in that augmented reality visual environment and make it super targeted and super custom to the store, and then have everything I'm visualizing feedback and integrate into some of the other tools and systems and capabilities that our sales reps use outside of what they're selling, if it's order taking or anything else. So I think there's we've got a ton of immediate runway. I think the really cool thing here, I mean, one of the things we really appreciated is most, if not all, of the enhancements that we've had as an organization have come from ideas from our sales reps. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, like, my job and Michaela's job is to help enable and make their lives easier. And I'm sure a lot of those ideas that on what the future state of or augmented reality or another functionality within the tool, like it's going to come from our front line. And so I think we have an immediate runway in terms of like customization and integration into some of other tools and things that we do. And then I can't wait to see what awesome ideas they bring to us, and then we start collaborating as a team to make come to life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love collaborative nature.
Yeah, I'll just add on to that too and say, I think what will be significant impacts as well moving forward is just how nimble this tool is. And we talked earlier about how ever-changing this environment is we're living in. There are a plethora of reasons for that, but we have our insights teams at headquarters who are constantly looking into, what's working, what's not working, where are we winning and losing versus competition. And so with AI and our AR features, we're able to take that information and those insights and bring it down to a store level to drive impact. And again, with such a changing environment we're in, we need to be really quick. And this tool allowing us to do so is going to drive, it already has driven pretty significant impact, but in the months, years to come, it definitely will continue to do so as well.
I love that. If I could add on to that piece as well, Michaela, when 5, 7, 6 years ago, when people said augmented reality, virtual reality, that generally people thought of, oh, I've got to wear these funky glasses, these goggles, no one would ever do that in a store. Nobody wants that. And so what we're showing here, this is something that is deployed on your iPad, your Android device, which is already in your pocket, your tablet you're already using. This is just using the camera in there and showing, I'm going to drop this into a store. I'm going to do a video of this store real time, and I'm going to real time show you an augmented reality without goggles, without glasses, what my display will look like in your store. Very simple, very, very accessible.
Yeah, it's kind of seamless. A question here is, how long does it take to set up, feeding all the information needed into the system? And we get this question all the time. What does onboarding look like? What does integration look like? Does it integrate into my current tech stack? Kevin, I know you can speak to this from the technology side, and then Remy, Michaela, give us your 2 cents on how the experience went for you guys as well.
Sure. From a tech side, clearly there's the interoperability with standard CRM, marketing automation platforms, inventory systems, product information management systems, digital asset management systems. That's all out of the box. Also, when it comes to third-party data sources like pulling in Nielsen data, open APIs to pull those CSVs or those SQL queries into Pitcher, so you can actually put that data actionable and build it into an actionable analytic within that desktop. So standard CRM, marketing automation platforms, inventory and PIM, as well as third-party data sources. Remy and Michaela?
Not much to add on my end. I think it's really just a function of how much you want to do. And for us, I think we are actively trying to feed more data and information from more places into the tool to give our reps a better and better experience over time. So how long it takes to me is really just like, none of it's been, it's been a very seamless process for us as an organization. Has been our experience. And it's really just a function of how much you want to put in. Typically what slows us down is when we need some kind of TPA with like a retailer or third party, and all, that approval process takes a little bit of time. But in terms of stuff that we control, it's been, been very seamless.
And then from an end user perspective on getting them set up and training, what we found to be the most impactful was in-person training. Again, the tool is very simple, but having that in-person training, we saw significant positive results from that. We talk about a lot. We learned this from actually one of our field sales teams on asking him how his team is performing so well with this tool and using it consistently. And he mentioned to us the 3 C's that he lives by with his team, which has stuck with me months later and will continue to do so. But it's coaching, communication, and consistency. So if you are consistently out there coaching and communicating with your team, and just really integrating, hey, this is our process. This is how we go to market now. This is how we sell. This is how we drive results at the end of the day is what it is. And so that's kind of set up around the end user side.
That's awesome. Coaching,
So
communication,
good.
consistency. Great. That's great. I think that is all of the questions. Looks like it is. But I'll just wrap up here with our contact information, direct contact information. We appreciate you all joining us today. Huge thank you, Remy and Michaela, to both of you for sharing your experience using these AI and AR forward tools and hearing firsthand how it's changing your business. Really appreciate you guys joining the conversation. And thanks to Will and the team at the Sales Enablement Collective for hosting the conversation, and to all of you for joining. We are grateful. Our email addresses are here. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback and stay in touch. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for joining.